This is Skywatch Media News for January the 3rd, 2020. Hello everyone, and welcome to the new year and the beginning of a new decade. In early 2019, the NOAA and the British Geological Survey were compelled to update the World Magnetic Model a year in advance. The primary reason for the unscheduled update was the acceleration of the magnetic North Pole drift, moving out of the Canadian Arctic and towards Siberia. Last month, the British Geological Survey and the U.S. National Centers for Environmental Information released another update to the World Magnetic Model, confirming that the magnetic North Pole is continuing its shift eastward. The forecast for 2020 indicates that the drift will move steadily towards Russia at a speed of about 40 kilometers per year, which is slightly lower than the average speed over the past 20 years, which was around 55 kilometers per year. The data for 2019 had confirmed that the magnetic North Pole passed to within 390 kilometers of the geographic North Pole, crossing the prime meridian. The data also indicated that the Earth's magnetic field is continuing to weaken at a rate of about 5% every century. The recent update is meaningful because the World Magnetic Model is used for compass maps, for GPS services to telecommunication transmission systems, and for navigation purposes for agencies such as the FAA, NASA, the U.S. Defense Department, and NATO. The acceleration of the polar drift is perplexing because scientists are still uncertain of the driving force behind the accelerated drift, even though the movement has been ongoing for over 20 years. What is known is that the magnetic north, where conventional compasses are pointed, is the result of the churning of molten metal in the Earth's core. The churning creates immense electrical currents, which helps produce the magnetic field. With the pole passing the prime meridian and moving steadily eastward, our world is now entering the unknown. The positioning of the magnetic North Pole has been documented since the 16th century, beginning around the year 1590. For much of this time period, the pole was meandering around the Canadian Arctic. But beginning in the year 1860, it suddenly began moving steadily in one direction. And now the migration towards Russia is happening quickly. Consequently, the distance between true north and magnetic north is widening, as this animation is showing. Here are some pertinent facts concerning the movement of the magnetic North Pole. Since 1860, the magnetic pole shift has more than doubled every 50 years. This is significant in geological terms. In the past 160 years, the shift is occurring in virtually the same direction. In the last 10 years, the magnetic North Pole has moved nearly half of the total distance of the past 50 years. Which indicates that the shift is still occurring quite rapidly. Scientists have expressed concern about the speedy movement of the magnetic North Pole and what impact it may have on the magnetic field protecting Earth. Although the field remains mostly intact, the world is still vulnerable to solar storms, like the one that struck the planet back in the year 1859. If a similar storm hit Earth today, it would cause an estimated $2 trillion in damages that would take nearly a decade to repair. A weakened magnetic field could also lead to a geomagnetic reversal, which is considered to be a potentially cataclysmic process. The last reversal is estimated to have occurred 800,000 years ago, but some scientists believe that another one is due to occur soon. Unlike geomagnetic reversals, which have the potential to cause real damage to our planet, it's important to note that eastward migration of the magnetic North Pole is not believed to be associated with any cataclysmic events on the Earth. As we enter into the new year, one of the biggest stories making headlines is the bushfires that are continuing to spread across Australia. The sheer manner of devastation is unimaginable as the situation becomes increasingly apocalyptic. This map shows where the fires are currently located. They have affected all states, including the island of Tasmania. Here is what is known so far in the new year. A humanitarian crisis is underway as food, water, and fuel begin to run out as the fires continue to spread. A state of emergency is in play in New South Wales. The fire situation in Australia has been ongoing for the past several months. Back on December the 10th, the Rural Fire Service confirmed that 724 homes, 49 facilities, and 1,582 outbuilding structures had been destroyed in New South Wales. At the peak of the festive holiday season, hundreds of Aussie residents expressed their appreciation to the many firefighters who are battling the relentless flames. Throughout the month of November, some 1,228,000 acres of land were destroyed at a national park in New South Wales. On November the 13th, a 600-mile-wide wall of flames swept across New South Wales' eastern regions. Satellite footage of the smoke from the bushfires in New South Wales indicate that it has now passed New Zealand's South Island, which is an indicator of the amount of vegetation that has been destroyed since the beginning of this year. Some of this smoke has now reached the troposphere. Eerie scenes are emerging from a region of Victoria where thousands of people had fled to the waterfront in order to escape the approaching fires and the burning embers. In Australia, the fire devastation continues, and many Australians now wonder if it will ever end. When looking to the sky, the words of one of the most influential philosophers in antiquity comes to mind. The stars are like letters that inscribe themselves at every moment in the sky. Everything in the world is full of signs. All events are coordinated. All things depend on each other. Everything breathes together. May his insightful words be entrenched into our minds and hearts, now and through the ages. Thanks for watching.